All right, this is going to be our recap from the class we did a few weeks ago, which was on Steve rolls for contact staff. The move that we were working up to during this class is going to look like this. So we're going to release, it's going to wrap around her neck, and then come out the other side, and to do a full Steve, it'll come back down the center, and then would roll back to the starting hand. So in order to break that down, the first thing we did was our neck wraps. What that's going to look like is we're going to start with our arms out horizontal. We want our hand gripped with the center point just offset to our thumb side. So the center point for me is between these two blue lines. I'm going to bring the staff for a horizontal neck wrap. I'm going to bring the staff flat across and bring my hand all the way up to my neck. And then all I need to do is give it a little twist. It'll wrap around and my opposite hand comes to catch it, and then I pull out to the other side. And then I can do that in the opposite direction as well. And then go back and forth. Some keys here. We really want to make sure that launch is horizontal. So you want to think about being in chest high water and you're trying to keep your staff out of the water. So we'll have that really horizontal launch, which gives it a flat plane to go around the neck. From the side, what that might look like, one other thing is we might need to bring our neck forward a little bit in order to create space. So again, from the side, I get that horizontal launch, neck comes forward, catch with the opposite hand, and out. The next thing we did is a vertical neck grab. This didn't apply for Steve rolls, but it's still good to learn at the same time. So again, we start with that same starting position, but instead we're going to pendulum down and come up to our neck, and then we can just do the same release across, and it works the same both ways. Again, a key here is I want to have pretty good posture. I want to be fairly upright, but and then bring my neck just forward enough to create that platform. So again, starting with that really horizontal, I'm going to lean just my neck forward and then come back out. Again, trying to keep as much of an upright posture as I can. One way we worked with moving with that is you can kind of combine them and do turns. So I might start here and do a horizontal. And as I catch, I'm going to step, get back to my starting position, do a vertical, come back to my starting position, and keep moving across the stage that way. So again, really good just to be able to work on always having movement associated with each one of our moves. And that was important to learn the neck wrap because that is the center point of our Steve roll. So as it comes down, it gets to be a neck wrap there and then rolls back out. So that's that middle component. Next, we moved on to actually performing our Steves and breaking that down. So the first part of the Steve, again, we're going to grip the staff just off center, but you can see here that the center point is on my pinky side of my right hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that up above my head, and my goal here is just to twist, and as my palm gets facing away from me, I'm going to release the staff so that it continues to twist onto the arm, and then just the center point will roll down our arm. So for that first part, what we can do is we can work on just that twist, release, and then use our other arm to catch it before it gets to our neck. Again, what that'll look like from the side is I'm up here, and all I'm going to do is twist my arm and let it roll down. You can see that when I do that, my arm has a slight curve to it, but it doesn't move or straighten in any way. A lot of people are going to want to kind of toss it and then straighten the arm out, and you can see that takes that momentum out of the staff. What we want to do is do the twist, release, and then just let that arm stay still. So once we were comfortable with that first side, we tried working that into to going all the way around our neck. So instead of catching with that opposite hand, all we're going to do is let it release, go around the neck, and we can catch. So that is going to be the first half of the Steve. Then for the second half of the Steve, what we're going to do is we want to have that same kind of curvature in our arm that we had in the first half, except for it's going to be down at an angle. So again, what that looks like is I'll have that, and then as it comes around, I want to give this curve for the arm to come down. Now, if my arm stays down the whole time, as this staff continues to move, it's going to run into me. So once the center point rolls down and gets to about our elbow, we want to start to lift up above our head so that then we can twist around and catch in our starting position. So at full speed, and we can practice that so that we don't have to start from the very beginning. We can start that from our neck wrap. So I'll do a neck wrap from the left-hand side. It'll go around and then just kind of come down the arm. That was my best example. So we'll do around the neck, come down the arm, and then up and twist. Once we're feeling comfortable with all of those, we can piece them together. So the full Steve is going to be down around the neck, and then up, and you can see I lift and catch, and now I'm back to that starting position. From there, I can either just transfer across hands and go again, or I can work on the left-hand side, which is less consistent for me, but you can see the picture there. From there, we started looking at continuous Steves. So once you're feeling comfortable with it going from one side to the other, we can start to add in and making it continuously going around our body. So what that might look like for a minimal transfer is going to be, we release, we do our first side, we catch in one hand, we transfer to the other hand, and then we just go straight back into it. So from the side, what that'll look like is we're going to go down, transfer hands, and then just straight back into it. We are, in that sense, in that one, actually catching it in one hand and doing a pass, and then continuing on. That gives you a moment where you can reset your hands or make sure that you're gripping from the correct location, but as a way to kind of have that continuous flow. The next type that we did, another way for continuous Steves, is to do a prayer hand transition. So what that's going to look like is we're going around, we come up into prayers, it transfers around our wrists and comes back up. One way to practice that is we can start with the staff on top of our left wrist, or on top of kind of the wrist that you're for your second side. For me, that's the left hand. And we can use, you want the center point kind of on your pinky side so that if I let go, it would fall off that side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start at my hips, using my right hand just for balance. I'm going to come up, and as I get over my head, I really want to make sure I'm looking up towards the sky, and I put those wrists up in the air. That's the moment where it's going to transfer, and then it'll release down that other side. So what that'll look like is we're going to start from here, come up, go into the prayer, and then come back down that right-hand side. And then again, at full speed, that's going to be here, and transfer around. And you can do those for as long as you can keep it going. And then the final thing that we went over was the front half of the Steve. So what we've been doing is really a Steve that just goes around the backside so far. Most people will just call that a Steve, but the actual complete one will be that when it gets to that second side, we can transfer into the palm, it comes down in front, and then back down to our first side. So the key there is going to be as it comes down this second side, and we lift up, instead of gripping it in our palm, all we need to do is turn our palm to face us and give the center point away to come down in front. Our arms might be slightly off to the side with that, but what we want to do in order to get that transfer from one shoulder to the other is we want to bring our hands together as the staff comes up towards the seat. It's going to come to basically a complete stop, and then all you do is drop your hand down for it to come down that side. And again, as it's coming down, if we lift up, we are then set up to start our Steve roll all over again. So again, that's going to be the full Steve. And you can do those continuously as well, getting a little bit of grip in there. But that was our class on Steve rolls. If you're having trouble with them, things to try out, different people are going to have success with different distances from the center point. So make sure you're trying that. Also, if you're throwing it too hard, the staff will want to come down the inside of your arm. So you can either adjust that by slowing it down or changing how far offset you are. Because our goal is really for the center point to travel down the outer half of our arm so that it then gets to our neck and is able to go around the back of the neck. Aside from that, just take some practice. Make sure that when you're starting out, break it down into those individual components. So like at the beginning, I'll definitely want to catch here, make sure the staff isn't just slamming into my neck, do my wrap, catch it with the opposite side, and then go down and come up. And then start piecing those together as they feel